I'm ShamimAkhtar with Comcast. I'm a Senior Director of Network Architecture and Technology, and I'm responsible for the network infrastructure from backbone, metro, edge and access, its technology, life cycle, and roadmap development. So the Ethernet technology is, as the topic of today's conversation, Ethernet as the heart of the internet, is pretty apt because we don't have any other protocol apart from Ethernet which supports our triple play as well as the Metro E cell backhaul commercial services on a one network infrastructure as a converged network. So you start from a backbone, higher speed and feed, to the metro and edge and access. It's all built with Ethernet technology. So if you look at the end devices at home, to the access and network infrastructure through DOCSIS, or even the fiber infrastructure through Metro Ethernet services, to the edge devices, which could be a CMTS or an edge router, or supporting different software stacks like MPLS and IP. However, the fundamental fundamental building block for that is Ethernet technology. So the changing need for Ethernet for any large-scale service provider, especially who are running a converged network infrastructure, the speed and feed definitely comes to our mind about faster speed and feed as early in the curve as possible. But that is given. Interop is the second best or second best thing or second most important thing I can think of. Interop between the optical domain as well as the Ethernet domain, or the systems which make the Ethernet appliance on which you have softwares running, be it IP or MPLS. That needs to interop with the connectivity and further with the optical line system to be able to support the speed and requirement for the network. End users like us have an expectation to collaborate with the standard bodies like Ethernet Alliance and OIF to be able to have the share of the sharing of the load for the interop, which we need to do to be able to have a better time to market, a better time to adopt the technology. I think Ethernet Alliance can potentially have a better understanding of the pulse of the carrier and the requirement than the standard bodies of 802.3, for example, or 802.3BA, for example. I mean, these are very specialized set of study group or specs development group. And I think Ethernet Alliance bring the best of each of the subcommittees together into one place to have a unified interaction from the carrier perspective. So I think Ethernet Alliance plays a very good role in summarizing the activities of what is going on, or communicating with the carriers to take the input on behalf of carriers onto the standard bodies to make difference in the standard which is being developed. Between the standards development to an end adoption of the technology to the end user like us, there's a lot of gap which needs to be fulfilled. The gap is not necessarily in how the specs is written, but gap in terms of system level understanding of the entire ecosystem to be able to land a technology which can be ubiquitously usable. So the impact of the electrical domain and the optical domain on a higher speed and feed, due to a higher speed and feed, is critical, and that's why end-to-end interoperability on testing environment is something where there's a lot of trust which needs to be given. Under the purview of the Ethernet Alliance, there's a lot of creative ways all the carriers can be brought to a common topic and have this discussion to drive this discussion into some kind of actionable result, which is a real interop happening in. And I think instead of us going or talking to carriers one-on-one, the more productive way for Ethernet Alliance and the standards like these to be brokering these conversations across the carriers and MSOs in the globe, and have the requirement of their their interop ask baked into some kind of a working document, and an actionable result can happen through real-life interoperability, with which the entire telecommunication community can benefit from there. So I think Ethernet Alliance has a great role to play around that.